Sherilyn Fenn's early career is the kind of story that Hollywood rarely sees today. Before she became the unforgettable Audrey Horne in Twin Peaks, Sherilyn was already leaving her mark in a completely different corner of the film industry. In the 80s, when low-budget movies were thriving, she was taking risks and playing roles that not only challenged expectations, but shocked the industry. Born in Detroit, Michigan on February 1, 1965, Sherilyn came from a creative background. Her father was a musician, and her mother balanced acting with exotic dancing. That mix of creativity and boldness followed her when she moved to Los Angeles as a teenager, where the road to Hollywood wasn't easy for anyone, especially for someone like Sherilyn, who didn't fit the typical mold of actresses at the time. Breaking into the film scene during the mid-80s meant standing out in a sea of girl-next-door types. Sherilyn's piercing blue eyes, dark hair, and strong presence set her apart. And while many of her peers were starring in mainstream, predictable roles, she was making a name for herself in the world of low-budget, often raunchy, straight-to-video films. Her early career was marked by a willingness to take on edgy, rebellious roles. One of her first films, The Wildlife, 1984, was a teenage comedy that tried to capture the same magic as Fast Times at Ridgemont High, but with much more emphasis on skin than story. The film didn't exactly go down in history as a classic, but Sherilyn made an impression, her presence impossible to ignore. Her next role in Out of Control, 1985, had her stranded on a deserted island in a wild, low-budget adventure that could have easily faded into obscurity. But Sherilyn brought something to the role that made it watchable, even when the script didn't offer much to work with. She commanded attention with every scene she was in. This pattern continued in Thrashin', 1986, where she starred alongside Josh Brolin in a skateboarding drama. Here, she played a bad girl, magnetic and unforgettable, stealing the spotlight in every scene. But it was Two Moon Junction, 1988, that truly pushed her into the spotlight. This film was pure melodrama, packed with steamy romance, soft focus, cinematography, and plenty of moments that left audiences talking. Sherilyn played a Southern belle caught in an affair with a carnival worker, a role that could have easily been overshadowed by the film's sensationalism. Instead, she elevated it. She didn't shy away from the film's overt sexuality, but she brought depth to her character. She wasn't just playing a seductive woman, she was playing a complicated, messy person, one that felt real and raw. Reflecting on this period in her career years later, she said it wasn't just about nudity. It was about taking on roles that required courage and skill, roles that made the audience think. While many actors who started in B-movies might have disappeared into obscurity, Sherilyn's honesty in her performances was undeniable. She didn't just take these roles for the shock value, she took them because she had something to prove, and she proved it. By the time Twin Peaks came around, in 1990 she was already a seasoned actress, unafraid to take risks. When David Lynch cast her as Audrey Horne, it was the role that would change everything. Audrey wasn't just another high school beauty, she was a seductive, mysterious, and complex character, someone who had a mind of her own and wasn't afraid to use it. Her performance as Audrey Horne became one of the most iconic roles in television history. The slow-motion dance in the Double R Diner? Iconic. The balance of charm and danger she brought to Audrey made her a character viewers couldn't forget. But Sherilyn wasn't content to stay in the mainstream spotlight. Even as Twin Peaks made her a household name, she continued to take on offbeat, unconventional projects. She knew how to balance surreal storytelling with gritty, low-budget energy, which became a trademark of her career. Sherilyn Fenn's early career is a reminder that true talent doesn't always follow the usual path. She wasn't interested in just becoming the next Hollywood starlet. She wanted to prove herself as a fearless performer. Her willingness to embrace unconventional, risky roles set her apart, and while Twin Peaks gave her the fame, it was her years in B-movies that made her a legend. She proved that authenticity and raw talent could shine through, even when the material was far from perfect. For those who are willing to look beyond the big hits and dive into her earlier work, there's a treasure trove of performances that showcase why Sherilyn Fenn has always been one of a kind. If you enjoyed this look at Sherilyn Fenn's unforgettable career, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and leave a comment below. What's your favorite role of hers? Let us know.